Rally Tao fam, good evening. Welcome to Le Show. As always, you've got me, the host, the legend. Just kidding. Aaron, Corey, thank you for joining me tonight. Todd will not be able to join us. He's got a big presentation tomorrow, so he is prepping for that. Much love. But Corey has Todd's picks, and we'll be making them throughout the night. Gentlemen, how are we tonight?
I'm still sad, man. I'm just sad.
Yeah.
Tuesday was just miserable for me personally.
The NFL lost a great player Monday night.
He didn't die. Let's just be clear.
Yeah, but there is the chance that in a blink of an eye, we saw the last.
That's true. He's 27. It's like his third knee injury.
It's his second, but it was a major one they had in college.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, like certainly, those injuries have, especially for pro athletes, those are a lot easier to come back from. And of course, they have all the sports scientists that we don't have access to. But yeah, man, I don't think there's an injury I've ever seen, watched, heard, been a part of that has affected me quite like this one. I mean, don't get me wrong. Players get hurt all the time every year, season enders, and they suck.
Yeah.
Chubb's been injured before, but this is just like.
This is a big one.
I mean, he's everybody in town's favorite player. Yeah, everyone loves Myles Garrett, but
he's my favorite running back, and I have to go against him twice a year.
Yeah, I mean, the way that Nick Chubb always approaches the game and the way that he plays football is basically what everyone points to and goes, yes, that's, like, I want 53 Nick Chubbs on my team.
Right.
Maybe 52. You need somebody in the locker room to stir it up, but
yeah, man.
So
that's
I'm sad. I don't want to bring everyone down tonight. I'll
get into it, but I'm not doing well either, by the way, just with the Burrow shit. But I had a kind of an interesting story today outside of football. Putting the kids to bed tonight, and I said, "Go upstairs, girls. Go and get your PJs on, and Daddy will be up there to read a story to you here in a little bit." Mm-hmm. So okay, so they run up the stairs, and just as I'm turning the corner, I hear, "Daddy, Savannah said," I said, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
And Harper comes around the corner and says, "Daddy, Savannah said a bad word." I said, "What did she say?"
Nice entrapment. Love it.
She goes, "Savannah said, fuck her shit." Dude, the willpower that it took for me to not just start fucking dying laughing that a 5-year-old said, "Fuck her shit."
Which is now going to be something that's in my lexicon.
Yeah.
That's great.
I
will be using that exclusively.
It was tough. It was Katie went through it. What did Savannah say? And fuck her shit.
What up,
and
Ryan?
It was very difficult. It took a lot of willpower. One of those moments you're like, you can't laugh here. This is a key moment in this child's cognitive development as to what is okay and what is not okay. You cannot laugh in this situation. We brought it back in. We sat her down. We talked to her. Said if it happens again, the soap's hitting the tongue, kid. I'm sorry. I didn't make the rules.
Dirty mouth.
I just enforce them.
Hey, and they're done that.
So how are we feeling about the Harper tattling though?
Currently, great. I have a mole. I feel good about it as
the video.
Somebody that's going to be making a lot of key decisions as to what they do in their lives. It feels good to have somebody on the inside looking out for the big man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to have a sting operation going on in there.
Yeah,
that is hilarious though. Hats off to you for actually parenting there and not going, which I would have done.
Literally, we put him to bed, and Katie and I are just kind of hanging out in our room afterwards, and she just looks at me. She was like, "How did you not laugh when she told you that she said fuck her shit?" And we just both start dying laughing. It was amazing. It makes you think back to like when you were a kid. How many times did you get disciplined? And Charlie, I know you're watching, so you might be able to speak to this. How many times did you get disciplined and then your parents just went off and just started fucking dying laughing about how stupid it was what you just did or something like that? I'm sure it's many times.
Probably now that I'm thinking about it.
Some pretty dumb shit that Josh and I would argue about over the years. So. All right, boys. Well, let's not keep the people waiting. Let's get into it here.
Give them what they want.
So, little week recap from last week. Pretty tight week overall. Everybody but Todd was 10-6. That includes Carp. Even though we all picked some different games, we all tied. Todd was 8-8. So total overall standings, we have Aaron in the lead, 20-12 through 2 weeks. I am 19-13, sitting in second. Corey is 18-14, sitting in third place. Todd is 16-16, sitting in last. So still a lot of football left. Carp, I know you only participated in week 1 or week 2, so we don't have a complete scale, but hopefully we get all your picks this evening.
I hope Ryan's listening tonight. I hope he's watching the show.
Anybody who wants to join in on the picks, please feel free. We've got an Excel sheet and we can add your name to the list. No problem.
It's pretty official.
Yeah.
It's Microsoft Office.
Yeah, absolutely.
What you know about that? What you know?
Google Doc.
Oh, well, that's a whole different thing.
That's a whole other ballgame, sir. All right, so let's get started.
China. Sorry.
we don't have a very exciting matchup tomorrow night. So for those of you that are not interested or thinking about watching tomorrow night, if you got
maybe date night. Maybe date night.
Bank a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey,
just throw in your. But you know what, babe, I'm not going to watch football tonight.
I was thinking we'd go bowling.
Make it a thing. Yeah, be like, listen, I know football's on tonight, but it's date night.
I think we should go out to dinner without TVs. Yeah,
surprise
not
her.
To B-dubs.
Tell her to ask her, where you think you're taking her for dinner, and then just take her to wherever she says, and then you're in like Flynn. So
there you go.
It's a good call.
All right, you've got the Giants on the road at the 49ers. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this game.
I think I should just read Todd's comment here.
Go for it.
And I think we'll all just be like, yeah, it makes sense. He's going with the Giants. Or excuse me, he's going with the Niners. No Saquon means the Giants will be unable to move the ball. And Purdy continues to look elite. So he's going with the Niners. I'm going with the Niners as well.
Jaden, thank you for liking the video. Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with the Niners. No Saquon, no viewership. That's the only.
I think even if Saquon's there, they still struggle to put points on the board.
Agreed.
So yeah, we all got the Niners. Everybody else, I'm gonna go ahead and put the Niners down for Carp, even though he's not in here. I don't see him taking the Giants.
Oh, sorry, auto draft. That's
he's got the Giants. He's not in here.
The Giants.
No, I can't do him dirty like that. All right. Next game, this should be a little bit more exciting, hopefully. So we're moving to Sunday, 1:00. We've got the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons coming off of a tight win over the Green Bay Packers last week, taking on the Detroit Lions, who took a close loss to the Seahawks. Corey, I'll let you lead this one off. Falcons on the road in Detroit. Who you got?
Sure. So I'll just go ahead and lay out Todd's pick here. He is taking the Falcons, as the Lions is a team that is badly banged up right now. No CJ Gardner-Johnson, James Houston, Montgomery, and possibly no St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown did not practice today with a toe injury. Atlanta continues to run the ball well. Bijan Robinson looking like one of the best running backs in the league right now. I know it's only been 2 weeks, so we'll pump the brakes on that. But
I looked excellent.
He has. The thing that I struggle with is other than Atlanta. The game prep for Atlanta's offense isn't too drastic. It's stop the run, make Desmond Ridder beat you. Atlanta refuses to acknowledge that Kyle Pitts is on their team, which is fucking infuriating. Drake London had a nice game last week, though, so it's nice to see him coming out and showing us what he's got. Detroit at home, they're banged up, but I think that team overall is just better. So I'm going to roll with the home team in a close win here.
Aaron,
go with the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of toss-ups this week, I would say, which should hopefully lead to some good conversation. So there's no problem with that. I think I kind of faded the Lions last week simply because I thought it was such a emotional win that they got on Thursday night with a little bit of a long layover, which that's awesome to have in the middle of the season. Week 1, it's almost like it isn't from an advantage standpoint, it's almost negligible. And I just felt like the Lions were riding a little bit too high. Now I'm going to reverse that a little bit here, because the Falcons to me are a team, after watching them after 2 weeks, have no business being 2-0. In fact, of course, everything we said for this year, the AFC doesn't look as good as we said it was going to start the season. A lot of that has to do with some, unfortunate injuries. But who did anyone have a 3 NFC South teams starting 2-0? Because I sure did it on my bingo card. Listen, I don't really like Ritter that much. I've watched him play. Don't get me wrong. He's fine. He's young. I'm not saying he can't develop into a good quarterback, but guys, I think Jared Goff has the inside track of certainly being a Pro Bowl quarterback in the NFC, which I know doesn't mean as much these days outside of contracts and things like that. But I've really, really liked what I've seen out of him. Josh Reynolds has shown up. Amon-Ra, I know, is dealing with some injuries here, but you guys touched on it too. On the other side, Bijan looks great, man. He does. He's as advertised, and that's really fun. This is going to be a fireworks type game. I'll take the Lions at home. Taking
the over as well, by the way.
So
I don't. That's probably going to be pretty high. I'd love to see it. The unders have been. Actually, no. Well, we'll save it.
So Todd's got the Falcons, and you two have the Lions, correct?
Yeah, I got the Lions.
I'm going to go with a little bit different of a strategy, but I'm still taking the Lions. I'm fading Todd. The man is ice cold right now, and
he's due, baby. He's due for a good week.
I love you, Todd, but I'm not only to that, but David Montgomery is not going to be playing this week, and we get to see a full dose of Jahmyr Gibbs.
Interesting take there. That's one
Jahmyr
of the reasons.
Gibbs is by far the better back in that backfield, although Montgomery did put up
skill
runs.
wise, sure, and open field wise, yes. But there's a reason David Montgomery is still the starter there. He does a lot of things that
he's a utility guy. He can do almost everything.
Work. He does the dirty work well.
I will say though, David Montgomery has looked infinitely better in these 2 games with the Lions than he ever did in Chicago.
Yep.
Agreed.
Facts.
Agreed. So I got the Lions. Todd is a lone wolf on this one with the Falcons by himself. So an opportunity for him to pick a game back up on everybody. All right, moving on. We've got the Chargers of Los Angeles. I almost said San Diego. Caught myself. And then
Progress.
They're on the road in Minnesota, taking on Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. Aaron,
can I pick a tie? Like this this one has tie written all over it. Neither of these teams know how to close it down in the fourth quarter or like to win. The Chargers are just infuriating at this point. Like the offense always looks good. At what point do we start comparing Justin Herbert with the Chargers as Matt Stafford with the Lions, where the stats are phenomenal, but it's just not showing up in the win column, right? And I think I'm a big Herbert apologist, and I'm starting to climb down the ladder a little bit. And that's not to say he's not an absolutely talented, fantastic quarterback, but so is Matt Stafford, man. And I don't really even think saying that is necessarily like a knock.
No, I mean, Stafford's a Hall of Famer.
Right. Well, and of course he's got the Super Bowl now too, but Herbert's going to throw for enough yards and touchdowns where, he's going to be right there at the end of his career at this trajectory. But then you look at the other side of the ball, and again, if you're a box score nerd, you'd look at both of these teams, you'd be like, oh, they played pretty well today. What was the score? How? And it's infuriating, and it doesn't make any sense. Kirk Cousins at 1:00, that sounds good. It's at home for Minnesota. This is just a bet against Staley in Los Angeles, because he's of course going to be the scapegoat here very shortly. First coach fired, maybe.
Very possibly. Corey, Todd's pick.
Yeah, Todd is also riding on the Vikings, kind of with the same philosophy that Aaron has here. Zero confidence in this pick, only taking Minnesota because they actually have home field. Brandon Staley looking to be gone very soon. Minnesota puts up serious points. So that's Todd's pick. As you guys know, I'm not a Brandon Staley guy at all. My hot take coming into the season was they're going to miss the playoffs and he would be fired. Looks like we're on trajectory for that. Only 2 weeks, so maybe a little bit of an overreaction there. But
that's what we do.
That's what we do. I think just for an effective gamesmanship, I think we're going to take the Chargers here. Get right game here for the Chargers. Not sure if we're going to see Eckler this week. That would be a huge comeback because I believe he was out on Sunday. Am I correct in that assumption that he was out?
Yeah.
So that would be a huge get back for them. But it's gonna be a coin flip. This game's gonna be close and it's not gonna be fun to watch. But in an act of gamesmanship to fade, Aaron, I will take the Chargers.
I think it'll be a very fun game to watch. There's going to be buffoonery. You're going to be able
I
to
think it's
take
gonna be as
highlights.
fun. It's gonna be as fun as that Colts Broncos Thursday night game last year, where you and I just sat there and just laughed at football.
Well, that game you could have
football.
turned it off and put on the Benny Hill theme song. So, I mean, here's the thing. Think of all the fantasy players that are going to be playing in this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it'll be fun if I can
I don't
just.
even want to talk about fantasy.
I know I can't get points for this, but I really do. I'm just like I'm calling a tie on this. I'm going to even look what the odds are to bet for it to just be a tie.
Yeah, I like it.
So Vikings just added Cam Akers. For those, I don't know if you guys saw that update. That's not a huge deal.
Doesn't make my penis move at all.
No, it's not great, but no Eckler
that's good.
for San Diego makes it a long or San Diego. See there, I did it.
You did
My football penis, Aaron, not my real one.
No Eckler for the Chargers is, or at least him being a question mark, dealing with an ankle injury. That makes me very hesitant to think that the Chargers can get right because that man is such a giant part of their offense. If he's not on the field, there's no way the Chargers have a shot. And even if he's on the field at 70%, I still think it's a struggle for them. So I expect the Chargers to struggle again. Kirk Cousins at 1 o'clock. Kirk Cousins actually playing some decent football first couple weeks. So I got the Vikings at home.
Oh,
Yes,
let's
sir.
go.
Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf. All right, perfect. Let's move on.
Let me ask you this: if they lose, does he get fired this week?
Yes.
No.
Wow,
No.
week 3. I was saying week 3 would be hot.
Let
That'd be
me hold on.
coming in hot.
When's the
0-3?
Chargers bye week? So it's going to be. Oh no, their bye week is week 5. Give it week 5. So it could be coming.
We'll see.
Yikes.
We'll see. Either
Remember
way,
when the media just like blew him for like 3 months straight? Like
Because
Brandon
he got like 3 straight 4th down conversions.
genius. This guy's
Nuts
genius.
on this guy. Yeah.
all right. So let's see here. Next game on the slate. I got an NFC matchup here. We've got the Saints headed north to Lambeau Field. The Saints, they won a close game last week, and the Packers lost a very close game last week. So this should be an interesting matchup. Corey, I'm interested to see what your pick is for this one.
Yeah, so just get Todd's pick out of the way. He's taking Green Bay. He's saying, can we take Taysom Hill as a running back in fantasy? Might be a good ad. Green Bay bounces back after a tough loss, puts together some good drives. Carr has looked good so far, 50-50. So, yeah, that was the point I was going to make is I actually – do they got something cooking in New Orleans with Derek Carr? A couple of exciting wins, the mojo flowing for the Saints. All that said, in Lambeau, I'm taking Green Bay. This is kind of a coin flip game for me, so I'm going to take the home team. I'm going to take the team that I feel roster-wise is just in a better spot than are the Saints. So give me the Pack at home.
All right, Aaron.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me to pick because I'm high on both of these teams for their season totals. So it's an interesting one for me, especially because the Packers ended up losing last week in a close game, and frankly, when you look at New Orleans 16-15 win against the Titans and 20-17, they're playing tight games. Even at home, whether it's at home or whether it's on the road. I think the Saints should have probably looked better to me in that Panthers game. Yeah, I mean, everyone's claiming Derek Carr this fantastic. It was fine. It's 228 yards. I know Olave stepped out. That was a touchdown, but like even then, fine. Give him one touchdown. It's not like he hasn't done anything that's like that impressive. I just think they have a really good defense, and I think it's a very good roster overall. I'm going to take the Packers here because they're at home. But again, this is just looking at both of these teams. I think this is going to be a tight game. It's going to come down to the end. So that's why you kind of have to take the home team here. Jordan Love you talk about impressive quarterbacks earlier. It's Jordan Love for me. He was, the question mark of this roster because, he had never really played significant downs in the NFL.
Sure.
What are we going to see out of him? So far, the returns are good, guys. I'm pretty sure he got 6 touchdowns through 2 games. I like Jordan Love. I know they kind of blew that game a little bit last week. There's going to be some growing pains with him for sure.
He blew the game last week.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. There's going to be some growing pains.
Yeah.
I get that, but I think he has looked good overall, at least in terms of, the reference points that we had of what could be the floor, what could be the ceiling here. And I think he's certainly on the side of the ceiling. So let's take Green Bay here at home at a 1:00 game. Seems like it's kind of a safe pick between a toss-up game.
A little Sunday nooner there for the people up in Wisconsin.
They'll be drunk by 6 the day before.
All righty, sports. Is Alvin Kamara back this week?
No.
It's next week.
I think he's still got one more week.
One more week. Okay. Yeah, this is a close one, man. See, I'm taking the Saints here, boys. I'm taking the Saints in a close one on the road. Like you say, I said this is going to be a coin flip. I just want to see if I can get one up on you guys.
Yeah, strategy standpoint, 100% makes sense.
I think this is a great game to do it. So
we'll quit going last every time.
Well, yeah. Also, like if
I
you
had
told
the Saints,
me,
I had the Saints plugged in before I picked it.
Also, if you told me, at 4:00 on Sunday, hey, the Saints won that game, I'm like, okay, yeah, I get that. Like, I'm not gonna be like, what?
Yeah, right. I would say this is probably one of the most, evenly placed games on the board this week. And frankly,
I think we got a lot of parity this week. Like, there's a lot of close ones, and then there's a lot where I'm just like, oh, this is a slam dunk.
Don't care. Yeah. Well, that's the next game that Corey just described. We've got the Houston Texans on the road in Jacksonville.
Go ahead, Bobby.
I'll go first. I've got Jacksonville in a landslide. Corey.
Yeah, Todd's in the same spot. His comments here saying rough offensive performance by the Jags, but for last week, need to see T-Law spread the ball a little bit better. Nico Collins has been a nice surprise. He's taking the Jags. I'm taking the Jags. Way better roster, way better quarterback, way better coach.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, man, Stroud last week, 384, 2 touchdowns, looked pretty good. Of course, they were down in that game.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be something that you see frequently this year. So for Houston, you can lose games and still have stuff to watch. And if CJ, if you're going to be down early and CJ Stroud's going to need to throw the ball to keep you in that game. And, that's fine. That can be good development for him.
Exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah.
So I don't think there's any issue with that as long as he's going to keep showing that, he has that ability, which he certainly did last week. Yeah, I mean, of course, the easy pick here is the Jaguars, and I got to take it, especially after that loss last week. I think they can go through and end up sweeping this division. I'm not necessarily saying that's going to happen, but it would certainly start this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Aaron, I'll bounce it right back to you. I've got the Broncos coming off a tough game, headed to Miami.
My boys.
Headed to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Who you got in that one?
Team Dolphins all the way. No, I mean this was my not surprise pick of this year, but someone I certainly bet on to. I have them to win the division. I think they're a really good team. I mean, let's face it, Tua has looked absolutely phenomenal, and I know everyone's going to say, well, he's one injury away or one concussion away, and everyone is. But the way that this roster is looking and is positioned, and frankly, Mike McDaniel has a good shot of what he's shown through 2 weeks to be coach of the year. The Dolphins are going to be all over this one. The question is, Broncos coming up here soon on their bye week. Are we going to end up seeing the end of the Russell Wilson show in Denver? I think Peyton benches him. I think he might. I honestly do. I think Denver is in just complete chaos and disarray. Absolutely. Yeah.
Did you watch that game last week?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think he had some bad plays, but he also had some really nice plays. I think he had some really, really nice plays. So if you're talking in an effort to tank for Caleb Williams, then that's a different story. But or potentially Graham Mertz could be coming in there.
I mean, that is kind of partially where I'm going. I mean, Peyton came in and basically gave no confidence in the situation. Peyton didn't go there to coach up Russell Wilson. He went there to coach the Broncos.
I get that. And I struggle with benching a guy that you're paying that much. I don't know that that's really going to, I just don't know. You're going to get everything you can out of him. in an effort to, hopefully maybe nobody else does, but I don't know. I'm with you on this one though. I think Denver's offense flashed a little bit last week. I thought they got into a shootout, which is a weird situation for them. Typically, it's not that case. Typically, it's the defense dragging the offense along. But last week it was kind of more of a who can score the most against the Commanders, which is fucking hilarious. But I'm gonna go with the Dolphins here. I still think Denver has flashed a little bit, and there is something that could be, uncorked. We're 2 weeks in, so there's a lot to be seen for the rest of the season. 2 weeks doesn't dictate the entire trajectory of how your season's gonna go. So, wait and see on Denver. But I feel really good about where Miami is right now and the ball that they're playing. So I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
Absolutely. I'd take it. Todd's got the Dolphins as well.
He does.
Okay, got it.
Are the Dolphins the best team in the AFC right now?
I think it's hard to argue otherwise. The only other nod I would give to Kansas City, just because they're Kansas City. I think that.
Yeah, for sure. Carl, Josh, Carp, thanks for liking the video.
Carp, Ryan's watching. Ryan,
Carp's in here. We need your picks.
Let's get your. How about them Gators, Ryan? How about them Gators? Love you, buddy.
Carp, need your picks. Giants at 49ers. Falcons at the Lions. Chargers at Vikings. Saints, Packers. Texans, Jags. And Broncos, Dolphins. Rapid fire. Let's hear it.
For those of you that aren't watching on Facebook and you're listening on Spotify, we do a live broadcast on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Check us out there. And if you're watching right now, make sure you follow us on Spotify. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyways, we've got, let's see here. Broncos couldn't stop their grandma. Yeah, their defense. It was a tough week last week for the Broncos.
Sam Howell looked decent.
He's looked pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean he looks fine. I don't know what to say.
I mean, I'm not ready to condemn or praise him yet in his play. I need a little bit more tape on the Sam Howell project, but what a turnaround that would be for the Commanders if they're like, yeah, we feel good about this guy.
I mean, he really does. Watching him remind me of like what I saw like the first year and a half for Baker. He looks like a carbon copy of like size and all.
Oh, we'll get to your boy Baker.
Yeah,
we'll get to him. He's cooking.
You got Niners, Lions. You've got Chargers at Vikings. Saints at Packers. So let him get that real quick. While he's working on that, we'll continue to move through the rest and plug them as we go. Next matchup, interesting matchup this week, I think. Vikings Saints. We've got the Titans on the road in Cleveland. Obviously, extremely tough and disappointing week for Cleveland. Losing, the best running back in the league, in my opinion, and Nick Chubb. Just absolutely unfortunate. Steelers don't win that football game last week if he doesn't go out. We did not have an answer for Nick Chubb, and it was pretty clear that the Browns and Nick Chubb were the better football team on the field while he was on it. So, we got the Titans on the road in Cleveland. Aaron, I'll give you the floor. Tell us your thoughts and feelings, and we'll kind of take it from there.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to even think about this game coming up this week just because of still how fresh the wounds feel from Monday night. I mean, you start the game off with a pick six and you're like, well, isn't that something I've seen before? But you're also like, I kind of trust this defense. I think whatever, that's a terrible way to start, but we can come back from this. I actually, I think this is a good team this year. And they do. And that's exactly what happens. And the defense looks stout. They're playing well. I mean, they had the Steelers offense in a bag outside of, getting Kenny Pickett loose on a play, which, that's what he does. So, or I'm sorry, George Pickens out on a play there. So losing Chubb like that it's indescribable, but also at the same time, the running back position is supposed to be the most easily replaceable position in football. So if our team was, don't get me wrong, Nick Chubb's the best running back in football, but if that was the make or break difference of our season, we didn't really have one to begin with, in my opinion. It really all starts with your $230 million guaranteed quarterback who is not playing like a franchise quarterback right now. Guess what? You don't have Chubb to lean on. You're going to have to play your wage, man. That's exactly what you're going to have to do. And I haven't seen it. You can, call bad weather for week one. Well, I'm just, Corey as an excuse to be like, all right, fine. In my head, I'm like, all right, he outplayed Burrow. That's all he needed to do. Yep. And of course he was injured, but take us back to week one when, we didn't really know everything at that point. And again, this defense can keep him in it. The thing that sucks is I was really excited to watch Chubb versus Henry, that would have been, awesome. Arguably the two best, running backs of the last, 5-10 years, even if you want to add everyone together. I'm going to take Cleveland here. I'm hoping that this Chubb, it's hard in the game, to see something like that happen to your teammate, someone who means so much to that team. And I can imagine, that was tough for the players to get back up for. And I'm going to just try to chalk it up to anything because we allowed the Steelers -7 yards in the fourth quarter on offense. And we gave up, they outscored us. So that's pretty infuriating. So again, Deshaun Watson is going to have to turn it around, but I'm hoping that the roster as a whole rises above it. Bringing Kareem Hunt, he's probably not going to get a ton of run this week, but at the very least, a guy who knows everyone in the locker room, and I think that's kind of a nice, good juju thing to get the locker room back up.
Yeah, absolutely, Corey.
Yeah, Todd's taking the Browns as well. Doesn't see this Titans offense moving the ball very well against the Browns defense, and I'm kind of in the same boat there. The only question mark is who's going to be worse. Is it going to be Ryan Tannehill or is it going to be Deshaun Watson? Because as Aaron said, Deshaun has not played well at all.
Awful.
He hasn't played well since he's been back from his suspension. It's not been great. It's not been this bad, but those 6 games last year or so, but it's not what you paid for if you're a Cleveland Brown fan. And but the biggest thing for me is I don't see any weapons on this Titans offense moving the ball against the Browns defense. They've played well. Nick Chubb didn't play on defense. So the Browns are still all intact on the defensive side of the ball. Jerome Ford looked pretty good, I think. So he'll be able to fill in there. And then Kareem Hunt, he might not get a bunch of work, but he knows the offense. Right. So he is kind of a plug and play type deal there. So I don't trust the Titans at all this season. And I think, like I said, that Browns defense has played well. So I'm going to take them at home.
All right. Carp coming in with a pick going against the grain here, taking the Tennessee Titans.
I just don't see it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you. I think getting Kareem Hunt back, he doesn't need to learn anything. He already knows this offense. So he's gonna be capable and ready to rock. Soon as the first snap hits. Deshaun really had a lot of poor plays towards the end of the game against the Steelers. 2 face mask calls.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Like, I was blown away. I've never seen that twice by a quarterback in literally 2 consecutive drives. It just felt weird.
It was strange at the Lees. I didn't understand it at all.
Yeah.
And in crucial moments.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the second one, it kind of looked like his finger got caught and he was trying to get it out of there, but still it's a face mask. But I don't know. It was weird for me. It was weird.
The second one was less egregious to me as well. I mean, like,
yeah,
he's escaping the pocket. People go to stiff arm, but
the first one was crazy
completely.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, Nick Chubb going out allowed the Pittsburgh defense to put a ton of pressure on him, and Deshaun just crumbled. So we'll see. I don't think the Titans are anywhere remotely close defensively. Compared to the first 2 teams that the Browns have played, and the Bengals and the Steelers. DeAndre Hopkins has been kind of nice the last couple weeks, but there's not a ton on offense there in Tennessee. So I'm gonna ride with you guys and take the Browns to rebound this week. Myles Garrett has 2.5 sacks.
Titans defense is okay. They're not bad by it.
They're not bad, but they're not great. There's nothing to write home about.
Absolutely.
So, all right, Carp, Lone Wolf, get your howls in, big dog. All right. Well, this is going to be an interesting matchup, in my opinion. The next one we got on the slate here. I've got the Bills on the road, headed to the nation's capital to play the Commanders. Who wants to take this one first, boys?
I'll go.
Knock it out.
Yeah, I think the Bills are a much different organization than are the Broncos at this point. Much different roster. I got the Bills here. I think it's going to be. They looked really good offensively last week. I think they're starting to find that rhythm, and I think they continue to roll here, getting a nice road win. Todd is in agreement with me. He is also taking the Bills. Commanders finally lose. One took 3 weeks for more than I thought. Like seeing James Cook be really involved in the blowout. Maybe they'll try it again. And I absolutely agree. I think James Cook absolutely is the answer there in Buffalo. One of my favorite fantasy picks that I have this year in my fraternity league. And I'm happy I did it because he was an amazing flex last week. I think threw up about 13, 14 points for me. So, yeah, if they can commit to that and establishing that running game, then Buffalo's offense could be very, very potent. And Diggs continues to just be fucking insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Josh Allen, slide. Go out of bounds. God damn it.
Yeah, check it down.
Just stop it. I like you, Josh Allen. I like watching you play football. You're fun to watch play football. I'd like to see you do it. I don't know, another fucking 10 years. Go out of bounds.
He acts like every play is the fourth quarter of a playoff game.
Of the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Right.
Like
you want to do that in that situation? Love it.
Like he's got the first down by like 7 yards, and then he's leaping in the middle of the field over top 2 defenders. What are you doing?
Yeah, but Corey, what's better than 7 yards?
Right. 8 yards. Yeah. Fucking ass.
No, I agree with you guys. I think the biggest thing that the Bills have been missing the last couple seasons is a solid run game, and I don't know where that's been. It's the same guy last year in James Cook, but yet they're using him this year. And now,
well, he's a rookie last year, I believe, was he not?
Cook, yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
yeah. And they
either
still,
way,
what's his name? That was there. And they
Singletary.
Singletary, but yeah, there was no reason to rush him into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyways, everybody looked great. Stephon Diggs continues to make his case for, arguably the best receiver in the league, and Bills roll. I said arguably.
Yeah, arguably. Top 5. I think that makes sense.
Top. That's fine. He's right there.
Yeah, he's up there. I got the Bills. Aaron.
Yeah, this is what the Bills do, guys. They just beat up on bad teams. Like they're gonna come in and kick the shit out of the Commanders, and then we're gonna go Bills, huh? Super Bowl, right? Looking pretty good. Thought so. That's what I thought. And then they're gonna get their shit kicked in by the Dolphins the week after. So every time the Bills are gonna go up against a team where you're like they are a tier below, they're gonna pounce on them. The Bills by 1 million in this one.
Like how many? What's your alternate spread?
What's the spread?
I don't have the spread off the top. I mean, I can look it up, but I would.
Yeah, I'll pull it up for you.
I mean, I certainly would take them with the spread.
Vegas knows what they're doing, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would certainly take them with the spread.
Without even Bills minus 6.5.
Yeah,
I think they cover that.
Yeah,
would you give them 10?
Yeah,
I would.
If it was 9.5, would you go 9.5? Would you take
at plus money? I'd take it.
At plus money, yeah, I would consider that.
All right.
I think that's what you'd get. Like, yeah, it's minus.
I was like, I know this. I know they're offering 6.5, so I'll just do that one.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Moving on, we've got the Indianapolis Colts taking things on the road to Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Corey, who's Todd got?
Todd has the Ravens. Baltimore. He says Lamar looked really good on Sunday. He's right. Todd Munkett actually has a playbook that falls into his strength. Minshew or Anthony Richardson, think it'll be an easy W for the Ravens. Anthony Richardson still remains in concussion protocol. That's something that I noticed in week 1 watching him at that Colts. Guy doesn't know how to protect himself yet in this league. So until he learns how to do that, hopefully the Colts are protecting him a little bit better than the Dolphins did Tua, and he will be allowed to appropriately heal and he can come back and play. But yeah, this one's not going to be close for me. I think the Ravens looked really good in a lot of different areas. Offensively, OBJ will be a question mark as to how involved he will be, but Zay Flowers looked really, really good on Sunday. Lamar looked confident in that offense. A lot of nice intermediate plus throws from him. So yeah, I'm taking the Ravens. That, honestly, Aaron, you asked who's the best team in the AFC. Why not them? They could be up there in that conversation as well. I think right below the Chiefs, Dolphins. I think the Ravens deserve to be next in that conversation, just with the way that they've been playing.
They could be for sure.
I'm just saying, will they be there at the end of it? I don't know. We're only fucking 2 weeks in, but on the small sample size that we have right now, the Ravens are playing good football, and I'm going to take them against Indy.
All righty. Aaron.
Yeah, and Corey, I mean, they're right up in that conversation. I mean, there's no doubt. And I would just I honestly just want to see a little more just because it was Houston and, knowing what we know with Burrow's health right now, I want to see them. I mean, even this one, I'm not going to be convinced entirely, but of course you have to take the Ravens here, especially having no idea whether Richardson's going to play or not.
Yeah.
And even if he does, that really isn't going to be a switch.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me how do the Colts win this game, there's some weird Lamar Jackson turnovers
yeah.
and Anthony
he hasn't done a good
Richardson
job protecting the ball.
Yeah,
he hasn't.
And
yeah.
I thought he looked good last week. I thought he looked like vintage Lamar. And frankly, Lamar with a little bit more throwing accuracy. I mean, he was hitting some pinpoint throws that. I think 2 years ago we were hoping that he could, and he's always been an underrated thrower for sure. But yeah, it's got to be the Ravens. I do like the Colts with the spread. I think this game will be closer than people think. NFL is weird like that, and I think the Ravens, like you guys said, I mean they're up here near the top.
Yeah, it sucks to say it, but I think the Ravens start 3-0 this year, guys.
Fucking hate them.
I don't see a world, whether it's Minshew or Anthony Richardson at the helm, that they can take down the Ravens. The Ravens have just looked too good over the first 2 weeks, and Lamar Jackson, it's a continuous story here on the platform. You got to pick the quarterback, and I'm taking Lamar Jackson 10 days out of 10 in this matchup. So, all right, Carp also had the Ravens, so we are all taking the Ravens. Bruce, thank you for liking the video. What's up, baby?
Bruce.
All right, this next one I think is a coin flip. I think we're going to be split on this one. We've got, let me see here. Are we on the 4 o'clock slate yet?
We should still have at least one more one.
Yeah. This is the last 1 o'clock game. We have got the New England Patriots headed to New York to take on the Jets. This is good. This is a tough game, boys.
I actually think this is a tough one to pick.
I want Bobby to go first.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that. I am so up in the air right now. I mean, Zach Wilson had some shades of decency last week.
It's a different shade of brown, dude.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I don't know. Bill Belichick
He needs to get back to what got him into the league, and that's banging MILFs. Okay.
I gotta go with my gut here, boys. I'm taking the Pats. Taking the Pats on the road to come into New York and take down the Jets.
Yeah, Todd's right there in agreement with you. It says Zach Wilson stinks more than Mac Jones. Jets fans are in misery. New England. I'm taking New England here too. I think this defense absolutely shuts down this Jets offense. I don't think they score more than 13 points. New England gets out with a low-scoring affair victory. Take the under.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different ways to look at this. I mean, the Jets, of course, Zach Wilson, no one is going to sit on here and defend or say is, a good quarterback, even necessarily competent. But at the same time, I look at every different level of this Jets team, and they're pretty darn good, guys. I mean, is there a world where Breece Hall just breaks 150 in this game, scores 2 touchdowns, takes over?
If they use him, right.
That'd be exactly
sweet.
They haven't utilized him.
Exactly.
Why start week 3?
But it's hard to take Bill Belichick after a loss, and I know he hasn't been the same, but he's owned the Jets forever. I have to take the Patriots. Again, this is a coin flip for sure. But
I figure we would be split on that.
I mean, the Patriots defense is just so good. All Mac Jones needs to do, and Ramondre Stevenson and that offense, just just control the ball, control the clock, have long drives, hit some field goals, and let's win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Carp came in the comments saying Brees shared his piece about that too. He certainly did. He went public on social media stating basically, "What? Give me the fucking ball."
I have no problem with that, especially in a game where what he had like 4 carries.
Yeah, extremely underutilized in a game that they
It's
lost.
insane.
So.
It's insane.
Ricky, thanks for coming in and liking the video, big dog. How we doing tonight?
What's
Ricky.
up, buddy?
Yeah, guys, I really thought that was a game we were going to be split on, but I guess we just don't love Zach Wilson, and we have every right not to. All right, let's see here. First game at the 4:00 hour, we've got the Carolina Panthers headed to the West Coast to take on my favorite coach's team, Seahawks, in the 13th man. So, or the 12th man, excuse me. I don't know where the 13th man came from. Sorry, guys. I'm tired. All right. Panthers,
It's
Seahawks.
that loud now.
Aaron, who you got?
Yeah.
They've added another man.
Boys, and especially Bobby, I regret to inform you, the Seahawks are back, baby.
Yeah,
We
they're
are
good.
back. I thought week 1, and that was the biggest question mark I think walking into week 2 for me was are the Steelers or I'm sorry, are the Seahawks bad or are they good? Because that week 1, and the same thing with the Rams, right? I think the Rams showed that week 1 wasn't a fluke, and I think the Seahawks showed that it was for them. So that's interesting for how that division is going to develop. Of course, the 49ers are the class there, but I think you're going to see the Rams and the Seahawks kind of jockeying, for maybe a wild card spot and second place in that division. I like the Seahawks here. I mean, the Panthers are just. Yeah, I'm sorry. Bryce Young isn't showing it to me yet, and it's not really necessarily his fault as it is kind of the offense as a whole. I don't really think he has a great offensive line. I don't think he has world-class weapons around him. And of course, what's going to happen when you have the number 1 overall pick? You have a pretty bad team. That's just what happens. I know they traded up to get it, but of course, but I think they moved up from 6, 4. Yeah, it wasn't like they were a great team last year. I'm not ready to throw in the towel on Bryce Young by any means, but number 1 overall quarterbacks typically don't have very, very good records at the end of the year. And I think the Seahawks kind of roll them here.
Absolutely. Todd's pick.
Todd also taking the Seahawks. He says Bryce Young is having a tough time adjusting to the league and is injured. Panthers are bad all around. Seahawks offense is electric, as we all predicted, which we did. DK Metcalf a little banged up last week. Not sure if we're going to be seeing DK out there, but we'll get JSN. We'll get Tyler Lockett.
Lockett, man.
If DK Metcalf is out, Tyler Lockett is a must start in fantasy. Must start. Didn't know DK was going to get hurt, so I benched him for Mike Williams last week. Mike Williams had a good game too, but would have been nice to have Tyler Lockett alongside of that.
Is Lockett just like the most consistently underrated receiver?
He's
I'm
the
not
new
even just
Bobby
talking
Trees.
about fantasy.
New Bobby
he's
Trees.
like
He's
but
the new Robert
like
Woods.
he was also in that same category when Robert Woods was doing
It's like him and Mike Evans are like the most underrated wide receivers in football, I think.
Yeah.
I would agree with
It's
that.
insane. Year after year after year, just the consistent output that they provide. I love it.
Yeah. No, so I'm in the same boat. I think the Seahawks are legit. I think going into Detroit, that place was insane. I had a lot of friends down in the downtown Detroit area for that Lions game. Said the vibe was absolutely electric. Standing room only seats for like $150 at Ford Field. Bunch of lot of noise there. And they went in and took care of business. It took overtime to do it, but they did it and got out of there with a win. I think this is a kind of like taking off the ankle weights a little bit, coming back home and getting a much lesser opponent in the Panthers, and the Seahawks should cruise to 2-1.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm right there with you guys. Seahawks all day. There's just not enough skill. There's not enough skill on the offense.
Yeah, fucking
defensive side
Terrence
of the ball,
Marshall
in my
Jr.? Like, what the fuck we doing?
Yeah, I mean the Seahawks are just better. They're better coached. They have more talent.
What was that, Bobby?
Whoa.
What did you just say?
I would be.
What time are we at?
I would-
Carroll
I would-
over Frank
49?
Reich.
Yeah, I couldn't be taken seriously sitting here if I didn't think that Pete Carroll was a better coach. Doesn't mean I have.
No,
to
I
like
know,
him.
but you unsolicitedly just said better
Yes,
coaching
you
Pete
did.
Carroll in the same
You
sentence.
did. That's true.
Yes,
No one,
I did.
No one asked
Okay.
you who could have gone without saying. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
I was just trying to provide a different take, gentlemen.
Happy belated
You
to
guys
the-
have already said it a lot.
Happy belated to the oldest coach in the NFL. Pete Carroll celebrated a birthday last Thursday, September 15th. Happy birthday, Pete. Bobby,
we don't
anything
have to make this
anything you'd like to
respectful.
say to him? Anything you'd like to say to him?
No.
Just
I'm
about
just here
10
so I
years
don't-
left.
I'm just here so I don't
10
get
years
fined.
Pete. Statistically speaking.
Jesus, Tez, what up, man? Thanks for coming in and liking the video. We are approaching your team here shortly. I know Corey's all about the Rams this week. Anyways, we'll move on here. We've got the Justin Fields led Chicago Bears headed to Arrowhead to take on Pat Mahomes. Kind of.
Yeah, Aaron, you cashing out that MVP ticket yet?
Well, I'm not going to cash it out, but hey, I don't hate it for what I got of that.
Yeah, it was a good bet at the time.
I don't even think they'll allow you to cash it at this point.
No, they'll let me add more to it.
You just have
Double down.
let it ride, baby. Aaron, who you got?
What's going on with the Bears, guys?
Dude, they're bad.
Like, it is just after week 2, heading into week 3, and it is like
Rob, if you're in here.
absolute chaos in that building.
Yeah.
Justin Fields does not look good. He cannot process the field as a quarterback. I saw a lot of all 22 videos on Twitter. Basically, just they're like slowed down, and you're like, all right, here's a wide open receiver. Oh, look, here's another one, and he's just
Yeah.
he's looking to hold out and run, and he takes too long. That offensive line is not doing a terrible job. He's just not making decisions, and he's going
Not
up
fast
against
enough, yeah.
the best quarterback. It's going to look like varsity versus JV this week, guys. I got the Chiefs by a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
At what point does Blaine Gabbert go into this game?
I don't know.
I believe he's
I
their
think-
backup, right? They replaced
I'm not
Chad
sure.
Henne with Blaine Gabbert, I believe. Could be
Oh,
wrong.
for the Chiefs.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were saying for the Bears because I was like, I have
No.
no idea.
No, for the Chiefs.
I mean, once
Yeah,
it's 35-7 in the middle of the third, I think you see Mahomes exit. But yeah, I mean, you guys mentioned it, man. The way Justin Fields gets through his progressions is just horrific. It's so slow. You guys said it, he missed so many wide open targets that I think any normal person who's how tall is he? 6'1", 6'2"? I don't know
Fields,
how
he's
tall
still
he is.
pretty. I mean, he's probably like 6'3" or so.
He's a
He's
decent
not
sized
small.
guy. Yeah, he's not the shortest quarterback in the league, and yet he's missing easy throws for touchdowns. So this is going to be a long week for the Bears. Chiefs roll. Todd, Aaron, Corey.
I think Todd took the Chiefs here. Or I'm
think-
sorry, Aaron took
yeah.
the Chiefs, yeah. So Todd is actually taking the Bears. Wait, I'm
What?
sorry. I misread that, kind of like Justin Fields does the defense. He's taking the Chiefs. Bears still sink. Just lost their left tackle. Justin Field hates the play calling, and it shows. Biggest blowout of the week. Yeah, the defensive coordinator also just resigned for the Chicago Bears today, citing health and family as the reasons to why he is stepping away from the organization. He thanked the Bears, and it was a privilege to work for one of the most prestigious organizations in the NFL. But he is stepping away. So,
Can we talk about the internet memes of the day, of like how the initial story came out, and like people kind of ran with it, and they had to ask the coaches about it.
what?
You know what I'm
Go
talking
ahead. Go on. No, I don't.
I
Yeah.
have no idea
So
what's
they were
going on
saying
here.
that like the guys got their like houses raided by the FBI in regards to something, and the FBI informant was Peanut Tillman,
Oh my
the
god.
old cornerback for the Bears, and like people
Bro.
ran with this story.
Dude. Oh my god. No way.
And the Bears like issue statements like from like lawyers like there is no criminal
That
investigation.
didn't happen. But
But that
they
story
had to do
broke
it.
before the resignation letter,
Right,
so that
right,
was
right.
that was the weird part.
That's crazy.
So it
That
kind of got
Peanut Tillman is you. Is this a ball sack sports story?
I probably, but
Right.
but again, that they had that before the story broke that he was resigning, so it almost it went hand in hand.
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
It was insane.
That's
Jesus.
fucking hilarious.
This is
People,
crazy what
guys,
can
like,
happen. How gullible people are.
That is just the best. Like the one thing that I have gained out of social media, and particularly like TikTok comments and things such as this, is that, guys, people are fucking hilarious. People are funny as fuck, and stuff like this just gives me hope for humanity, because it's fucking hilarious. It's absolutely hysterical.
The other side, though, Corey, is the other half is very dumb.
People are stupid. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Also
Definitely a two-way street.
confirmed by social media and TikTok. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, you guys ready to talk about another fun game this week?
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys on the road in Arizona.
Oh my God.
I feel like there's going to be not a lot of discrepancy in our picks this week, because
Well, I mean, there was to start, but I think there will be to finish it out in a couple of them. But
Yeah, this is a fucking bloodbath, dude. This is like
I
having
know
Dax
Todd
as a
said
fantasy
that
quarterback
Chiefs
is just
Bears-
like, yes.
I know that Todd said Chiefs Bears are going to be the biggest blowout, but I think this is going to be the biggest blowout of the week.
This
That's what I
defense
was
is
gonna say.
stupid. This defense is stupid. It is insane.
Are the Cowboys the real deal?
yes,
Yeah, 100%. And are
their
the
defense is Go ahead, Corey.
will the Cowboys defense score more points than the Arizona Cardinals offense?
Potentially.
Yeah,
Tez,
You know,
I hope
hats
that's a
off to
joke.
Dobbs, though, who hasn't looked terrible somehow,
sure.
but he's going to get murdered.
Yeah,
And Bobby, you asked, are the Cowboys the real deal? I think 100%. I think, how we were talking about the Dolphins in the AFC. I think you could argue that Dallas is the best team in the NFC right now.
I
That
think you could argue
defense
best in the NFL, Aaron.
100%. You totally could.
Which
They're
is
just
repulsive.
that defense is
to
playing
say.
at an entirely different level, and that offense really doesn't have to do anything other than not turn the ball over.
Right.
You can go down and get 3 every time, and that can be your goal. And if you punch it in, awesome. This is a great drive. But we're getting past that 50 on every possession, and we're getting them through the uprights. That's the goal.
I would argue you could get away with not punting the entire game.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. And if you're gonna just pin them down, that defense is gonna just keep you in every single game. Micah Parsons is playing at a different level, and it's him and TJ Watt right now that are just, that's who your defensive players of the year.
Yeah, with you.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and speak for everybody. We all got the Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's just like this game reminds me of like Saturdays. Just an absolute blowout, not even close. Like there's
Like
no point.
Florida
watching
versus Tennessee. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I'm sure Carp will have a few words for you.
20 years. 20
Still holding
years.
For the Cardinals, I'm still holding on to my last winless team for them. So that
Hey,
week
there you
1
go.
performance was loved Washington
Day
coming
one.
back, but
I
feeling
don't
good
think
about
you're-
it now.
Yeah, I don't think you have any risk this week. We'll just put it that way.
Dude, hey, it's the NFL though. Like we will be saying "holy fuck" if it happens, but
Yep.
it could absolutely happen.
I will do every live broadcast without a shirt on for the rest of the year if the Cardinals beat the Cowboys.
Noted.
Love that.
Clip that. Hey, Chad, could you clip that, please? Can you clip that?
All right. Moving on to the Sunday night game. 2 primetime games back-to-back weeks for the Steelers. They are going to be headed on the road for their first away game this year, headed out to Vegas to take on the Raiders. Man,
Can I give you Todd's pick first?
yeah,
We'll let you go last.
he's got – okay, that's fine.
Who's he got?
He's got the Raiders.
He's got the Raiders?
Yeah.
He's got the Steelers, Bobby.
All right.
He says Kenny Pickett is electric. Just kidding. Their offense is bad and got lucky 3 times on Monday night, but the Raiders' defense is even worse. Looking for Jalen Warren to have a good game here. So he's taking the Steelers. He is taking the Steelers, 100%.
Yeah.
And I'm also in line with that, Bobby. I think that I think you've got some electric names on that Steelers offense, or excuse me, on that Raiders offense in Adams and Jacobs, but I think that Steelers defense can contain that. And Jimmy Garoppolo isn't anything to get worried about. I'm going to take the Steelers here.
Aaron?
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers as well. That defense is it's still as good as it always is every year over year in Pittsburgh, and that's going to be a problem for Oakland, of course. Or, God, now I did it for Vegas. I haven't done that in a while. It's gonna be a problem for the Raiders, but to Todd's point, and I touch on what is going on with this offense, and I'm hoping for your sake, Bobby. I'm praying for you guys. Not really. Jaylen Warren is so much better than Najee Harris.
It's not even
Corey,
close.
let me finish. I'm praying that you never figure this out. And you just keep deciding to let Harris just rush it up the center's butt for 2 yards every play. Guy's got no vision. He's slow as shit. Like even when he's in open field, you're like, why does he have cinder blocks for feet?
Let me ask you this, Aaron. Who has better vision, Mark Sanchez or Najee Harris?
I'll give the nod to Najee, but
okay,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bobby. I'm feeling a little Trent Richardson-ish.
Way different draft value. First of all, it's not even that
Still
comparison.
first rounder.
Yeah, but third overall.
Yeah, but that's when running backs were still going around that time that were that good. Like Zeke was taking fifth. Like it's after. It's not like
the hype was not even remotely close though.
For Richardson? Oh my God, he was so good.
No. I'm saying the reverse. Like Najee did not have anywhere near the hype that Trent Richardson did.
No, but the easy comparison is the Alabama running back Heisman.
Well, it'd be an easy compare. Like Eric Ebron would be a good one. I think the Lions took him like fucking 8th overall. That'd be a good one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I disagree with both of you. I think Najee Harris is he's not the problem.
He's not the problem.
No, he's not. He's just
he's
not better than Jaylen Warren.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready to say that. I really like Jaylen Warren. I think production-wise, Jaylen Warren has been better. I can't argue that. I think Matt Canada needs to figure out a new profession. His play calling towards the end of that game was just atrocious. And on 2nd and 10 to run the ball up the gut when you need to get a first down, and your scheme was not even close to like getting anybody remotely off the line of scrimmage was just terrible. Just absolutely terrible.
What that tells me, Bobby, is that you have no confidence in Kenny Pickett's ability to execute a 6-yard pass play.
No, that's Matt Canada's assessment. That's not
right.
My assessment.
No. I'm not saying that that's true.
Oh.
I'm saying that that's what Matt Canada. He's like, I feel more confident that I can get 3 yards in a cloud of dust here and set us up with a 3rd and 7 than I can in Kenny Pickett executing a 6-yard slant play to set us up with 3rd and 4.
Yeah. So I think there needs to be a little bit more trust. I don't think Matt Canada and Kenny Pickett are on the same page, and I think that's been pretty clear with the execution of the offense. I have the Steelers here. I think T.J. Watt, arguably the best defense player in the league. But Micah Parsons is. They are both 1A, 1B. It's pretty clear that he's just electric. And Alex Highsmith had a really, really nice game.
He did.
Pick 6, the forced fumble that TJ returned for a touchdown. Alex Highsmith, like I said, beginning of the year, this guy is going to be critical to the Steelers' success, and it showed in week 2. So, Steelers all the way.
Hey, Bobby, has anyone in Pittsburgh made a remix or dubbed over the Blame Canada song from the South Park musical, or is nobody creative live in Pittsburgh?
That would be amazing. And
Pat McAfee's from Pittsburgh.
I don't believe so.
It's pretty creative.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that's just sitting there. That's just sitting there.
It's right there.
Yeah,
it's absolutely right there. All right, Taz, I saw that you've been giving us your picks. If you want to roll through the first, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, first 12 games.
Yeah.
If you want to roll through those and get back to me on your picks, I'll put the rest of them in here for you. We might even have some time to recap here at the end since we are way ahead of schedule.
We're cruising.
If we are, because there's so much agreement on this one. You're like, that team sucks. This team's way better.
Yeah, and actually on the coin flip, so a lot of us have been in simpatico. We've been.
It's kind of been a little
just a circle jerk.
Jerk. All right. I don't think we're gonna have much of a different opinion here as well. Kind of same thing. I think the last game maybe some differences in opinion, but two Monday night games again this week. The Monday night double feature. We've got the Eagles headed on the road to Tampa Bay to take on Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. Corey, what was Todd's pick?
So Todd's taking Philly. He said basically the secondary got bailed out last week by having an amazing offensive front, but Tampa Bay doesn't scare him. Looks for AJ Brown to have a big game. I'm going to flip that. I'm going to say Devontae Smith has a huge game this Monday night. Right? We have a doubleheader Monday night game.
Not a fan.
Yeah, it's stupid. But I think both these Monday night matches are kind of snooze fests. And I think that if I was in the lead in our pick'em, I would take Tampa here because something just is there. I just kind of feel it. There's no explanation. It's just kind of one of those where like Tampa could sneak away with one right here tonight.
You're feeling the vibes down at Tampa.
I think Baker's played as well as he possibly could have. I think that we have to talk about that.
I think
we're talking about a guy that coming into the season, I think all of us in step said Baker Mayfield is on the verge of being a career backup.
He was in a legitimate competition with a guy named Kyle Trask.
100%. And let's not forget, I mean, Tampa drafted Kyle Trask, I think 4th round, but nonetheless, they drafted
in general,
him.
He's going to be a backup in the league.
So Baker Mayfield's on the verge of, if he puts together more games like he has in the first 2, and again, small sample size, we'll take it with a grain of salt, but and to say the defenses that he has gone against, nothing special.
That's a big point.
Yeah, but maybe that's what you kind of need. And I think that, there's been other teams that have kind of gone against lackluster defenses to start the season, and we're not holding that against them. It's the NFL. If you perform well, you perform well. And that's just how it works. This isn't college where you're playing an FBS school 1 week and then you're getting, St. Mary, Sister of the Sorrow, Southeast Georgia Tech the next week. It's not that way. This is the NFL. This is the best players on the planet, and Baker has played well the first 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So early vote for comeback player of the year, Baker Mayfield. And it's DeMar Hamlin if he steps foot on a field. Let's just get that out of the way. But I'm just saying, like, if Baker continues to play on this level, I'm seeing Geno Smith-esque type things, right? Philly wins this game.
That's a fair comparison from what we saw last year.
I'm not taking Tampa. I'm just saying there's some value in a money line Tampa bet, I think.
You think it's going to be a better game than I would assume most of the population.
I do. I think they've the way that this Tampa receiving core is built, it's perfect for Baker because they're fucking loaded. They've got talent from fucking X to Z, and Baker is perfect for that. None of those guys are drama queens. None of those guys are going to bitch about getting looks, and they're all going to get theirs. They're seasoned vets. They're not prima donnas. Like, it's perfect for him in that. And I think they have a legitimate top tier NFL running back as well. So
absolutely. Aaron.
Yeah, I don't think there's any debate there that Baker has played well above what certainly I would have anticipated for him this year. I think at the end of the day, we have seen the best performance from him. What I mean is he can still get back to that level. Like, his rookie year, he really was showed himself to be a really good quarterback. 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. And, 2 years after that, he had a 26-8 interception season. I think that is who he's going to be. But Corey, as you said, this offense is still got some weapons to it. They're a little bit aged and from when Tom Brady was there, but they're still, more than adequate. I mean, Mike Evans is just a freak of nature. Every year, it's like Tyree. It's like Derrick Henry in Tennessee, where it's like every year you're like, well, he's not going to do it again this year.
He's going to regress.
He's going to regress. Finally, he's going to get injured. It's just these guys, for whatever reason, just outlive time and what Evans is doing. And everyone wanted to be like, well, he's not going to get the 1,000 yards this season. Well, it looks like he fucking is. So,
they could have taken the over.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all to say. I'm taking Philly here because they're
how many
just
does he have already?
Better
by the
team.
way?
yards. I mean, he had
Yeah, Mike Evans.
156 or something
I'm
last
pulling
week.
up right now.
Yeah, I'm just curious because the over under on him, I believe, was 895 and a half,
It was
and I slammed
895 and a half.
I slammed the over on that.
Smart.
I think,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, Philly to me though is still my pick for the
237
Super
right
Bowl.
now. So he's already a
230,
quarter. He's already a quarter of the way there through 2 games.
barring injury, that's a lock.
Well, yeah, of course. But yeah, Philly to me is still the team that I have to win the Super Bowl. I know they haven't looked outstanding the last 2 weeks, but
Neither of the Chiefs.
Yeah, but here's the thing: why does everyone forget? Like, okay, Thursday night football, no one's going to look their best.
Yeah.
I don't really care that much.
Get out of primetime
Get out there
games
with
in
a win.
general. Just get out with a win.
Just get
I
out
think
with a
that-
win. That's
yeah.
all that matters. We see it. I mean, we saw it both Monday night games last week. Like it that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And it's
They're
huge.
not pretty.
So yeah, they're not necessarily pretty, but I think Philly's just the better team here. But Corey, I'm with you. There is something going on down in Tampa. And that's why I got to agree with Tez. I don't think this is a snooze fest at all.
I'll be interested to watch it. I'll be a lot more interested to watch this one than the other one.
Yeah,
You
Ted's
say.
coming in with a couple comments. Biggest one here. Don't forget Baker played well for the Rams the end of last year. Won games with third stringers and practice squad players. It's carrying over. McVay helped him a ton.
Damn it.
I think you saw it. When we all saw the clip of him basically calling out the defenses, like alignments and signals, and knowing what was going on. Like he's reading the field so much better this year, and it's showing. He's playing above where he's been.
Turns out Sean McVay, pretty good offensive mind.
Right.
Yeah, but let's
Who
also
we
not
got?
forget it was against a team that's defensive coordinator just resigned today.
And prior to that, it was the
maybe he was
statistically
just
worst
like, man,
defense.
Baker did that to me. I need to
Right.
quit."
And like you said, Corey, I know this isn't college. Everyone
It's
that
the
you're
NFL.
playing against, it's the NFL. I completely agree, and he's done nothing but earn the praise that we're giving him right now. But I
Lot
would
of
like
football
to
left.
I would like to see it against Philly, who, in my opinion, is a good defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I got the
With you.
Eagles.
I'm sure
here.
that's shocking to everybody.
I got the Eagles here. The Eagles until they prove me wrong.
It's the only bet to make.
Not going to bet against them. So, all right. Here's a game where we could potentially be split. We got the Rams headed to Paycor to take on the Bengals. Corey, would you like to lead it off or go last?
Yeah, I'll go last.
Why don't you read Todd's off
Okay.
as a Bengals fan?
Todd has said, don't know the status of Burrow, which we don't. We don't know. We won't get an injury report, I think, until tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, on JB9. But the Rams offense hasn't looked terrible. No logic, all homer pick. Who day? He's taking the Bengals.
Hey, you know what? I can appreciate an honest answer.
Sure.
Aaron.
Yeah, man. This seems like a pick that if we were making in preseason, we're just going through, and I'm just like penning this one in as a win. I certainly didn't think the Rams were going to come out and look the way that they did. Obviously, they lost last week, but to a team that some would argue is the best roster in football, and they made it a fun game. Puka's looking pretty good in that Cooper role, and just fantastic names to just pepper 15 targets a game to Cooper or Puka. Just like they're
think
fun to say.
Broke the record for most receptions in his first 2 career games or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. And you got to ask yourself, is Cooper Kupp just a system wide receiver?
Through
No,
3 different quarterbacks.
Corey, I wanted to ask, I'll make my pick here, but I wanted to ask you something here. So we saw, of course, the first 2 weeks for the Bengals, and, Joe Burrow's play kind of speaks for itself. And we know Joe Burrow. He's a fantastic quarterback. He's easily a top 5 from a talent standpoint. And we've seen him in the Super Bowl, and he's a fantastic player. I think the last 2 weeks aren't a reflection on who he is as a quarterback. Obviously, the injury is a factor here. So your first 2 weeks are against the divisional opponents. I get why you want it. Like, those are so important. But now that the schedule has fallen the way that it has, it's got to feel like worst case scenario where you lose both of those, and now Joe Burrow is not even healthy. So would you have sat him for those first 2 games? Or, I mean, like, I'm just curious how you would have handled that, or how you would have liked to see the Bengals handle that. Or if you thought they handled it well.
I mean, I don't know where Joe Burrow was on the injury spectrum until now. So had I known, and maybe he didn't even know, and maybe the Bengals didn't even know, and maybe it's
Sure.
just one of those things that just kind of has flared up. And a calf injury is the quarterback position is kind of one of those things to where like mechanics is such a big part, footwork is such a big part, and when you're in the training camp and the practice realm, like you can take these, you're not getting hit, right? No one there is going to touch you if they value their job. So, you're able to take your time and do your footwork and things like that. When you get into the game, throw all of that out the window. It's not scripted. It's not planned. You're going to have to be impromptu. You're going to have to move in ways that you haven't. And I think that I don't think the Bengals mishandled this. I just want to put that out there. I think that the Bengals looked at Joe. He's sprinting, he's running, he's moving around, he's doing everything that we would have normally asked of him, and he's fine. Let's go ahead and put him in the game. And then, okay, week 1 was bad. He didn't have a lot of reps. Okay, the weather was terrible. The Browns defense schemed really well for us. We weren't prepared for that. Let's learn. Let's move on. We get into the Ravens game. Offense starts poorly, gets kind of the lid taken off by that Charlie Jones touchdown on the punt return. And then in the second half, you're like, oh, okay, here we go. They're starting to move the ball. Like we're starting to see, like Joe Burrow has a nice touchdown to T. Higgins. He gets a second one to T. Higgins. He's making good little reads and dumps off to Joe Mixon on like a 28-yard little wheel route. Travion Williams had a nice play. You're like, all right, they're starting to feed Joe Mixon. He's becoming a part of the offense. You're like, oh, fuck. All right, cool. You get a 3-and-out right out of halftime. And then on that second touchdown to T. Higgins, and you see him limp off the field. I didn't even see him limp off the field. I just saw the way he ended the throw, and I turned over to my way. I said, Joe's hurt. I just saw the way he let go of the ball, and I knew it. I knew something was fucked right when he let go of the ball. And so I don't think it was mismanaged in that regard. I think that they went with the information that they have. This is a type of injury to where it's like a soft tissue injury. It's not a ligament. It's not a bone or anything like that. This is just like it hurts when I walk or do things. And those things are only healed with one thing, and that's time. And so the interesting thing is we're in a soft part of the schedule right now. So it's like, what do the Bengals do? Do you go ahead and pull the trigger on an IR placement for 4 weeks? Let him 100% devote himself to getting good. Free up a roster slot. Maybe you go and grab a Joe Flacco or something. I don't know. I don't know,
Sure.
man. But no, I don't think the Bengals necessarily played the Joe Burrow thing wrong. I think we got some comments coming in here, Bobby. I don't know if you want to get to that or get to the picks, but yeah, that's where I'm at on it.
We'll get to a couple of them. Ryan coming in saying offensive play calls have to change for the Bengals to win. I don't think Corey or Todd will disagree with you there.
Well, can I comment on that real quick? Because like this is something we walk through this fire every fucking year. And there's been a point where Joe Burrow has kind of, and all of the weapons that are on this team have kind of pulled Zach Taylor out of the fire in terms of his play calling. But I have been infuriated with the lack of commitment to the running game that has been on this team for the last 3 years. Aaron knows it because we don't run the ball against the Browns, who up until this year were the worst fucking run defense in the league. And it just doesn't make any. You have Joe Mixon, who is clearly easily a top halfback, if not top 10 in production value. Give him the ball. You have 3 running backs in Travion Williams, Joe Mixon, and Chase Brown that can move the football for you, that you feel good about.
Mm-hmm.
Run the football. There's nothing else that would help your quarterback in the passing game than establishing a run game. I just don't understand this mindset of we're going to come out on 1st and 10, we're going to throw every single fucking time. Every single fucking time. So Ryan, I'm right there with you, man. It's infuriating. I've been there for the last 4 years, and it's easy to not say anything when you're winning division championships, but it hasn't changed. Like the play call, there have been times where the Bengals have had to snatch victory out of the jaws of defeat because the play calling has put them in a position to where they're coming from behind every single time. They're losing the positional field game every single time. It's frustrating. It's definitely frustrating.
Yep. Tez coming to the comment. I think it'll be a shootout if Burrow does play. The Bengals O-line is still awful. The Rams defense will have a field
One
day.
sack last week. Not awful.
Their secondary is very young
again.
and still raw. Bengals won't be able to run, but will throw all over that young defense. Rams by 6.
Bengals offensive line isn't bad, by the way. I think Myles Garrett had no sacks. I think one sack to end the game. That's
they had pressure all night. They were double.
Yeah,
I get it, but like it wasn't like Pickett wasn't being pressured the entire time. He did his job.
Yeah, Aaron, I don't know if I ever got your pick.
No, I threw the question to Corey, and So yeah, for me, it comes down to a couple of things. I don't know what's going on with Joe Burrow. I don't know if he's going to play or not.
That's the big thing for me.
That's too big of a question mark in a game like this. And here's what I've seen with the Rams. The way that they played against the 49ers defense, who, again, people can argue, one of the top defenses in the league, certainly top 5. And again, with that roster, that the Rams are a team that have completely surprised me so far. Sean McVay shows himself as a play caller. They have so many rookies on this team that it's amazing, that they're getting the production out of them that they have been. But again, without knowing what's going on with Burrow, even if he plays, so this is my rationale for taking the Rams here. I think the Rams can compete in a shootout. And even with Burrow, I don't know with the injury if they can. So I got to go with the Rams here.
Yeah,
which is amazing to say about the Bengals, who I would have thought, top 3 offense, easy.
This is an absolute. I know you, Corey. I know you said this is a soft part of the schedule, but this, as it stands right now, this is an absolute 1,000% must win for Cincinnati. It's a must win football game. I don't know if you can start 0-3 and recover. In my opinion, I don't care how good your football team is. 0-3 is a deep hole to dig yourself out of, especially in a tough division. So if Joey B doesn't play, which I don't think he will, considering the amount of money you just spent on him, you want him to be healthy. You don't want him running for his life against Aaron Donald, 2-time defensive player of the year. I'm taking the Rams here. Taking the Rams in a close one in Cincinnati. Bengals got a deep hole to dig themselves out of this year.
Bobby, to your point about this being a must win, one thing I do want to point out, we picked every single other AFC North team to win this week, and every other AFC North team this week, or every other AFC North team already has a division win. So yeah, this is a very important.
Important. Yeah, but division is not.
They're more important.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Like, a lot of these games are stacked at the end of the season, and the Bengals are gonna have a lot more shots
as they are in week 17.
I agree. I agree with that. And the Bengals went 3-3 in the last 2 seasons in this division and still won it. So let me just put that out. They could go 0-3 to start the season as long as they win the back 2. They're in the same spot they were in last year. That said, I don't know any. I think the Rams have played good football. The Bengals haven't. This is. I'm in a bad spot with the Bengals right now because coming into this year is like, this is the season. Like, if you're gonna do it, this is the year to do it. And if Joe's hurt and it's bad, like you don't want to play him. You just like you said, you want to sit him. You want him to get right because it's more about the next 10 years than it is about this season, I think. And I'm still confident that they can re-sign T. Higgins. I think if you're going to get somebody up, it's not going to be Jake Brown. It's going to be Will Grier. I think is who you're going to see starting for the Bengals. So go Gators, go Mountaineers. If Will Grier is toting the rock for taking the snaps for the Bengals, it sucks, man. It's tough. Like I know, like Aaron, you watched like your franchise player get his knee Willis McGahee on Monday Night Football, but like I'm watching the Titanic sink right now, and there's no possible way to pull it out unless they sneak a win, and that happens sometimes. Sometimes you get like a guy.
Here's primetime football.
Yeah, sometimes and they're on the road, and the Bengals are doing the white Bengal jerseys. They're putting Boomer Esiason and Chad Ochocinco into the Ring of Honor, so the crowd's going to be hyped. There have been times where a backup quarterback's just like come in and like it's caused the rest of the team to galvanize, and that's what you could see. You could see freak Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon. You could see absolute unit version of Trey Hendrickson on Monday night. That could, like, this Rams offensive line is not anything to write home about. It's not special. And the Bengals defensive line hasn't been special yet this year. So yeah, there are opportunities for the Bengals to win this game, but from a betting standpoint and not knowing about Joe Burrow, I have to take the Rams. Like, it sucks. Like, but they're playing good football. The Bengals are not. So I got to go with the Rams.
I am shocked.
Well, I mean, I'm not an idiot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, I will disagree with you that 0-3 it's not.
I'm not saying it's an impossible
think-
hole to dig yourself out of, but it
Here's
is.
the thing.
Mathematically, we know it's not, but
It's hard.
statistically,
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
even 0-2 is hard.
Oh, even 0-2 is hard. There's only been one team since they allowed 7 teams into the
Right.
playoffs to make the playoffs at 0-2. This is
Right.
Cincinnati Bengals last season. So
Yeah, correct.
yes, it's difficult. It's very, very difficult. However, what's better? Putting Joe Burrow out week 3, not 100%, or rolling the dice, seeing what happens. Again, it's the NFL. The Bengals still have a lot of talent on that team. This could potentially, like I said, cause the rest of the team to say, we have to fucking rise up, and it's on us to go get this dub right now. Or maybe Joe's like, oh yeah, I feel great, and he fucking plays.
That's the thing is,
Like,
I don't know. I have no idea how he feels.
What we could be like, honestly, that could have just been a tweak, and like what we could be getting out of the Bengals right now is 100% gamesmanship. Like, Zach Taylor knows Sean McVay better than anybody. Sean McVay knows Zach Taylor better than anybody. They played each other in a Super Bowl. Zach Taylor coached under Sean McVay. They know their tendencies and everything. We could be seeing gamesmanship right now to where Zach Taylor's just like, yeah, I mean, we're day to day on him. We don't know. And Joe's just fine. Who knows? But until I know more, I got to go with the Rams.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think the only way the Bengals win this game is doing exactly what the Steelers did. Defense is going to have to step up, score some touchdowns, put some points on the board.
Another Chuck Sizzle touchdown on a punt return.
And just carry the load. Yeah, defense and special teams are going to have to step up in a big way if the Bengals want to win this game, if Burrow doesn't play. So a couple comments rolling in regarding Mr. T. Higgins.
Yeah.
J-Rob coming with a comment. Higgins is gone. He's going to chase the money. Tez following that comment up with T. Higgins is a number 1 receiver on every other team in the league. He is a beast. True. I would love to have him.
It's not true.
I mean,
not every other team.
I think it would
but
be
quite
tough
a few
for
of
the.
them.
I think it would be tough for the Bengals to re-sign him again. And again, we know the cap isn't real, but at a certain point, it kind of is, and it kind of screams to me like a team like, I don't know. I think of like Green Bay or New England or somebody like that who's like, they're not paying their quarterbacks much. You can kind of just throw you're like, I need to get this quarterback a legitimate everyday guy.
If that's the case, the Bengals will trade him before the trade deadline. If they're not going to resign him, they'll trade him. There's no way they ride out, like, especially with Joe hurt.
Well, if Joe's out, then that makes a ton of sense. But if he's not, there's no way they could.
Right, 100%. The other thing that we have to, like, and I know that this, like, not everybody in here watching this or listening to this is a sick Bengals fan, as I am. There isn't an organization in the NFL that values wide receiver higher than the Bengals. There isn't. It's just not. There's no one that's invested as much draft capital into the wide receiver position and as the Cincinnati Bengals have over the last 15, 20 years. Mike Brown loves quarterbacks and wide receivers. He loves them. He absolutely loves them. And that's the only caveat that I'll put there. The other things that I would put into play here is that a quarterback contract is something that is we knew the Joe Burrow deal was going to get done, right? We knew that was going to get done. It didn't require Joe Burrow going into the media at all. It didn't require what I would say is leverage. A wide receiver contract requires leverage. 100% requires leverage. And that's why you'll get these little rumor bullshit headline grabbing tweets where T. Higgins is uncertain about his future with the Bengals. Like that's not, if you actually listen to the interview, that's not what it was like. T. Higgins has said nothing but me, Jamar Chase, and Tyler Boyd are brothers. I know money talks and bullshit walks, but there has to be something in there. So I'm just putting those in to play devil's advocate. Yes, maybe T. Higgins is gone after the end of the year. Joe Burrow could restructure after the season, as I'm seeing Tez coming in here. Like Joe would absolutely, I think, restructure. Patrick Mahomes has done it twice since his new contract deal.
Teams do that all the time.
All the time.
That's why I'm saying, like, I know that's why I said, like, I know the cap isn't real.
Yeah.
But
so
I also remember, and I don't remember.
I'm just putting that out there to play devil's advocate because a lot of the message has been, yeah, T. Higgins is walking. He's not a one on every team. He's not.
I do want to bring up this kind of similar comparison. I know, or like, I don't know, over a decade ago when the Bengals had Chad Johnson, they had TJ Hushmanzada, and then TJ left for the money in Seattle, and then his career was basically over because he didn't have an elite receiver on the opposite side of the ball. Now, do you think that would be something similar to this situation? I know T. Higgins is much better than TJ in my opinion, but do you think that T. Higgins would be a successful number one without another strong wide receiver on the opposite side?
I think he's a great fantasy guy, and I think he's a great red zone guy. I absolutely do. I think he's a great jump ball, down hey, it's 3rd and 9. I got him one-on-one on the sideline. I'm putting the ball near him and it's like a 50-50 ball. And I like those odds with T. Higgins being the 50-50 choice, right? Like, I don't want to take anything away from him. I'm going to try to downplay him. I think T. Higgins is an absolute top half receiver in this league, even at a number 2. I think he's a number 1 on a lot of teams. I just wanted to put it in there that he's not a number 1 on every team. That's just silly. He's not a number 1 on his own fucking team. He's not a number 1 on the fucking Vikings. Like, there's a lot of teams where he's not a number 1 on the Raiders. We can keep going down the list on all these different teams where there are just better wide receiver options out there. But I don't think he's number 1 on the Seahawks. He's not a number 1 on the Jets. We can keep Eagles. We can keep going down the list here, guys. Dolphins. Right. Exactly. So I don't think that is I don't think the fall off is the same because one, we're talking about TJ Hushmanzada on a 3rd contract versus T. Higgins on a 2nd. Those are very different. And again, they play a different game. They play such a different game.
For me, though, he is the perfect free agency plug for a team that needs a number 1 receiver.
Sure.
Like that's the kind of
the
player
Panthers.
that you're like. Yeah, the Panthers would love him. Again, I said the Patriots would make a shitload of sense for T. Higgins.
No, you said the Packers too. That feels
exactly.
Like a really
Packers
good
would make a ton of sense. You're gonna hate it, cap isn't real, but the Chiefs, because he'd be a really great number 1 receiver when Travis Kelce is also out there. Where, like you said, is he going to be the best if he doesn't have a job?
The Browns would be a really good fit.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I would love to have T. Higgins.
I would love to have him in Pittsburgh.
Everyone would.
There's not a team that's going, you know what? I don't think
I don't want T. Higgins.
No. Maybe the Seahawks. Like, we got a lot invested into the wide receiver position. Like,
right.
Maybe the Seahawks. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with him. I'd like to think that they would get it done because of how successful it's been. But that's just there's a lot of time between now and then.
I know you said that nobody likes wide receivers more than Mike Brown, but wouldn't you also be very confident in your abilities to find his replacement in the draft?
And they've done it. They've found a lot of really good wide receivers.
Like Pittsburgh's great at it too.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating as all hell for a team that we just aren't great at it, or just apparently.
And the wide
doesn't
receiver
value the wide
crop
receiver position.
continues to get bigger. Like the wide receiver
Right.
crop coming out of college continues to get bigger. You're getting top tier talent. Like we got T. Higgins in the second round. I know it was the first pick of the second round, but I think it was the first pick of the second round.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like you can get a lot of good talent throughout the first couple of rounds in the NFL draft at the wide receiver position. So,
just continue to call Ohio State.
it's sad, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh
my God! If they somehow get Marvin Harrison Jr., I'll just freak out. How about this? We'll just all collectively agree right now he has to go to the NFC.
The Bengals tank to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Put Joe Burrow on IR. Just go ahead and go get Marvin Harrison.
He'll be in black and gold next year. Don't you worry.
Yeah, because you guys draft all the Buckeyes and ruin them for everybody.
What's going on with Denzel Ward? Speaking of, what's going on with him?
What do you mean?
I know he got banged up on Monday night. Is he?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from either of them. I know Newsome was questionable return. I'm pretty sure he did, and I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay.
But I haven't seen anything this week that's like they're not playing.
Okay.
Tez, let me know if you want to run back through all the picks real quick. I can plug them in here for you. First couple games: Giants at Niners, Falcons at Lions, and Chargers at Vikings. So, if you want to, just throw them in the chat. But
real quick, guys. Does Colorado upset Oregon this week? Kind of switching gears into some college football. Have you guys been watching any of the Colorado games?
Big injury for Colorado. Big injury for Colorado.
Travis Hunter, yeah, it's a big one.
Without him, I don't think it's possible. I still think it's a decent game.
Here's the thing. He wasn't even that big of a piece week 2 for them. He wasn't even that big of a piece of their offense week 2. I understand he's a two-way player. I know he's a two-way player, but they've got a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I'm just saying 20 points, that's a lot for me in this game. It's a 20-point spread against Oregon. I understand you're in
I
Eugene.
would definitely hammer the spread for Colorado.
Oh, well, I would say I think that's a different question you're asking now. Upset
it is. I was starting the conversation and I'm pivoting. All right. Welcome to CNN. I think it's a loss, but I think that offense still has the ability to hang with people. For sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it's pretty clear that Dion wants to be the best coach in football. And
he's bringing his luggage.
He's certainly drawing the eyeballs to it, which of course is good for college football. Like you know, if you're a sports fan, you kind of have to be living under a rock to not.
It's the most viewed game in college football history,
and it's exciting. And you know, frankly, his son is a pretty good quarterback, which helps.
Yeah, dude, he's got a missile. He's got an absolute fucking unit of an arm.
Yeah, I mean, like I knew for Jackson State that he, you know, had good stats and everything like that. But you're also like, okay, it's a little bit of a lesser, talent.
Here's the thing. Here's what could happen. He gets drafted by the Falcons next year. Think about that. Think about.
Do you think they would jump off the Desmond Ridder train?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
jump off the train. They'd throw him in front of it.
Damn.
To have Prime back.
Are you kidding me?
Prime?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be an amazing story.
Guys, and I know, Ryan, this is going to be a little tough for. I know Ryan's in the chat right now, but and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here with the Gators over Tennessee. I'm telling you guys, Graham Mertz looks like a different fucking human being at the University of Florida. Obviously, transferred from Wisconsin when Luke Fickell became the head coach, came to the University of Florida. He looks like a different person. The way that he's processing and throwing the football. I don't know how much of that game you guys watched on Saturday night.
I didn't.
But from the transformation from the way that they looked week 1 against Utah in Salt Lake City, their offense looked anemic. They didn't get the run going. Then they had the week against, some fucking, I forget who the fuck they played, McNeese. Yeah, week 2, fucking dog walked McNeese. and then they play Tennessee, and they looked great. I'm just telling you, Graham Mertz could be a sleeper first round pick coming out of the University of Florida this year. And look out for Travis Etienne Jr.'s little brother, Trevor Etienne. This kid's got some wheels on him. He's got some vision as well coming into the I believe he's in his junior year. So I don't know if he'll declare this season, but couple of nice prospects coming out of the University of Florida. Any sleepers for national championship? I know everybody talks Georgia, Michigan, things like that.
You know, if Notre Dame can beat Ohio State,
I think the winner of that game is a definite favorite.
Is going to be a playoff team. So you kind of have to just put them down just because there's only 4 teams that can get in. Therefore, only 4 teams can win it. Yeah, I think that would be, and I haven't been impressed with
anything. What time do they play Saturday?
I think like 8 or something.
It's a primetime game, baby.
Yeah.
It's in South Bend, right?
Yes. Yeah, because last year was in Ohio State, in Columbus. So, I certainly think that one, will be interesting. Is Texas good?
I don't know. I don't know. So here's the thing about Texas is like it all comes down to whether or not the play that they're getting out of the quarterback position is legitimate or not.
Right.
I think we saw it last year. And then after one, obviously he got hurt. Starting this, they look good, man. They look good. They did what they had to do against Bama. I think they did it last year though too. And then obviously after he got hurt, they kind of fizzled out. But every time you think Texas is back, they're just definitely not. So
that's fair.
Yeah,
USC. Yeah.
I mean, you got the best quarterback in the country. There's
Absolutely.
something to be said about that. Is it a down year for Georgia, do we think?
No, they're just loaded.
They got scared. They had a scare this week or last week against South Carolina. They got out with the W, but South Carolina is a team that they normally would have just fucking railed. And absolute homer pick, but I'm going to tell you the Buckeyes are a sleeper for me. I think that the Buckeyes can absolutely win a national championship this year. This year, there's a lot of open doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, we just said it. It's whoever comes out of this one is really the team that is going to have a chance to do it.
Yeah,
because I mean, like you said, like from a pure, you can just pick teams or whatever. I think you kind of have to mention Notre Dame.
I think we could.
I honestly think they can. I think Notre Dame's going to win the game.
I think we could have 2 1-loss teams in the playoff this year.
Yeah, you could have that though. That's true.
What's the spread on the OSU Notre Dame game?
I think it's Ohio State -3, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So
I don't know. No, it's in South Bend.
No, I'm just saying, basically money line, like 3 points. That's
I guess. I mean, but I mean, guys, Florida's got Charlotte this week. And then they go into Lexington to take on Kentucky. It's 3. Ohio State -3.
Mm-hmm.
I would take Notre Dame +3.
I would.
With the opportunity for a push there. Florida's got Charlotte this week. Then they go on the road to Lexington. That's always a tough game. Gators and Wildcats play tough. Then I believe they've got Vandy and South Carolina in between there. And then Georgia. If they go undefeated up into the Georgia game, that's going to be a big matchup, particularly if the offense continues to click. This defense, the Florida defense has played phenomenal. They have, I'm not fucking kidding you, they have a defensive tackle that is 410 pounds. I'm not fucking around. And
wow.
I'm not going to say he moves like a deer, but perhaps a rhinoceros. They're still pretty fast, guys. They're still pretty fast.
Vince Wilfork-esque.
Kinda, but with better hair. He's got dreads, he's got rolled braids. Just saying, if the Gators can walk through the next 4, and the fuck that guy, by the way, it says Ryan, he absolutely lit up Joe Milton for a easy fucking can of corn interception. in that game against Tennessee. But if the Gators can go undefeated up into the world's largest cocktail party is going to be lit. They're in Duval. Should be fun. Should be fun.
Fair enough. Gentlemen, do we have anything else?
Oh, thanks for entertaining my college football talk, though, boys.
Absolutely.
Shout out to the BG Warriors, BGSU
put up a
football
fight.
team. Put up a fight against the University of Michigan. 3 picks for JJ McCarthy against
I mean,
Bowling
it's just a
Green.
stout defense.
Yeah, what do you? I mean, Mac football, baby. Let's go.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, that's the podcast. Everybody, thanks for swinging through. Rob, Ryan, Tez, Bruce, everybody who liked the video, commented, gave us your picks. We appreciate it. We will catch you guys next week for week 4 with a week 3 recap. For those of you in your fantasy football leagues, best of luck. Hopefully this week is better for me. It's been a rough start to the season. So
It's going to turn around. It's going to turn around.
it has to at this
Has
point.
to.
But you
Statistically
guys have
speaking.
a wonderful rest of your evening. And we will see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.